Hi, I'm Corey.
Hi, I'm Tess.
Welcome to A Lovely Place.
We're so glad you've joined us as we invite Jesus into the midst of our lives, learning, and laughter.
We hope this podcast can encourage your heart and make you smile today. Hi, my friend Tess.
Hello, Corey.
How are you today?
I am hanging in there. It's been a week, but I'm here.
You're here. I'm here
here
too, and I can relate to that feeling of like, what is happening? And
yes.
I don't know. So I'm glad for Rebecca Lyons' book because I feel like this was good timing again to like go to that deeper level of our heart with her book. Like, I still feel like Kendra Adachi's book, The Lazy Genius Way, helps you like figure out what's important, and now this is like helping you figure out why it's important. Like, and then, oh yeah, are you including this? Is that important to you right now? Or because it's just like, how many things can you think about? But and then just selfishly, I think we're learning all of the last 4 create rhythms through this podcast experience. So
yes,
friends listening, thank you for learning with us as we learn a lot, because we're learning right now and we're laughing.
Yes.
Are you laughing?
These are good chapters. So we have learned something new, take care of something,
make a memory,
and say yes. And then the conclusion of the book. So I feel it's just so funny because like I guess maybe you don't think about how ideas are just kind of like planted in your head from what you read, but I have been reading these chapters this week, and then it just kind of flows into like what I'm thinking about and what I'm doing, and I love that because it's good. I think I comment that on every podcast that like I love how God communicates with us that way, Oh, it's good.
He's so faithful. He knows what we're doing. Like, what?
Yes.
Yeah. And then he sees us, like, and we don't have to do it perfect. And I appreciate our friendship that we get a text and be like, pray for me. I'm in the bathroom crying. Like, hashtag real life is happening. So,
oh, yes.
That is important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reach out.
We got to make a memory this weekend, and we're taking care of something. So what she talks about in the chapter about taking care of something is how her daughter was struggling with anxiety. And so they ended up, she had some interest in 4-H, so they got her some chickens to take care of. And having something, right? I wanted chickens for so long. I just haven't quite gotten there yet. But, like taking care of something, having something that depends on you can kind of help take you out of that, like, that anxious mode. And so we decided Jackson has been having some struggles lately with school and some other things. And so I thought, okay, well, what if we talk to him about having a pet, like something that's his to take care of, and I'm sure it comes with the territory of having one child and then having, so Spencer is 2.5 years older than Jackson. And I think sometimes Jackson almost feels like he lives in Spencer's shadow. And obviously there's other dynamics that I'm sure Spencer feels about Jackson, but, anyway, but I think I often notice that with Jackson, like, and so we bought him a hamster, and he loves his little hamster, and I'm excited to see just the ways that he grows from taking care of her, and maybe how that can give him some self-confidence where he's not feeling so much. And we made a memory, like the other day he got to hold her in the bathtub, and like not in the bath, like not with water, but like he was sitting in the bath.
Wait, what?
because they're kind of squirrely, like they
Yeah,
move
yeah.
around a lot. So that way he can't like drop her and have her land on the floor and run away.
Right.
So he was sitting in the bath on a blanket and she was in there with him. And he just the look on his face because she was crawling around and like then crawling up on him and then going behind him. And he was like, oh, she's tickling me, you know.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me like I used to have like rats and stuff like that when I was a kid, and they were just so much fun, and that was such a big memory for me when I was a kid. So that was a fun little memory for us to share this weekend
Oh,
and brought
rats.
me joy.
I'm learning
Yes.
I'm learning things about you, friend.
I used
Those
to
always weirded me out. What?
I used to carry mine around when I was a teenager. I had them all the way up, from when I was like 8 or 9 until like I think when I went away to college. Um Different rats, obviously, not the same rat the whole time.
Okay.
But I had this one that was super sweet. Like she was never mean, and she used to ride on my shoulder, and I would take her places with me, and she would just hang out with me.
Nice. That is a memory that yeah. I love it. I mean, I love that it's your memory. And I don't have to have a rat on my shoulder.
That's hilarious.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, when you texted me and said that you'd gotten a hamster, I was like, oh, they're reading this chapter, or she read that. Like, I was like, this is that being lived out. I loved it. Like,
Yeah.
we need to take care of something. And I remember like when Riker was, I don't know, 2 or 3, and he was just getting really frustrated. But then I moved the dishes in our kitchen around so he could put away dishes and he could reach them. So then he had a responsibility, maybe not quite as cool as a hamster. I gave my son dishes. I'm the fun mom. I'm just kidding. But it really helped him feel like he was participating in a part of a family. Like it makes a difference, responsibility, and then it
Yes.
makes sense to grow that responsibility and with a little animal or chickens and 4-H or like
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Like, okay,
Yeah.
taking care of something.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And knowing that there's a contribution that you're making, and if you don't make it, there's a deficit because of that. And not in a bad way, like,
Right.
oh,
But
you
just like,
failed, but like I matter because
yeah.
if I don't do this thing, it's not going to happen. So I
Right.
matter. Like,
Yeah.
that's a big thing for kids and just for people in general. Like I think sometimes I look for that in my own life, and I guess that's what Rebecca's talking about. She's not even necessarily talking about with our kids, but even with ourselves, like knowing that we're doing something that makes a difference and that can't just be replaced, like,
Right.
oh, whatever, you're just filling a hole, like, no, I want to know that I make a difference and that, people need me and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was most challenged by the Say Yes chapter, which the subtitle is Take a Risk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I often feel so drawn to do things like that. Like the go on an adventure chapter was also really appealing to me.
Yeah.
And this whole risk taking thing, I'm like, this sounds fun. But I think sometimes I'm realizing that maybe that comes in a way that I don't expect it to. I was, as I've been like pondering and figuring out our summer, I was planning on going on a mission trip, and that felt adventurous and like a risk to me. But then as we've been praying about it, we feel like it's not the right timing. And I think that God is like challenging me a little bit in how I'm thinking about things, and that saying yes doesn't always have to be something that seems out of our normal,
Yeah,
you
and
know, like,
grandiose or like
yeah, but like saying yes can be something that we're like I'm saying yes to my family and that I'm saying no to this mission trip, and this summer maybe my best yes is spending quality time with my family and making memories here without it being, you know, something like you said grand or whatever, you know.
mhm.
So anyway, I think it's challenging my perspective on
Yeah.
that it doesn't always appear what we think it will, you know,
Mhm.
the things that we're supposed to say yes to. So,
Well, and then not to go back in time all the way, but like Kendra Adachi and know your season. Like a risk in
yeah.
this season is going to look different than somebody else's season. Like it's like, okay, what am I saying yes to, and paying attention I think is important to not just fill space up with stuff either. Like that doesn't make
Yeah.
that's not what this is about. Like it's like we're taking care of our heart and our mind, and we're getting the input so then we can get the output. And I don't
Yeah.
think it's like saying like you got to do all these things or you're not doing it. Like that's the
Right?
message from the world. Like I feel like Jesus
Yes.
tells us a different message, like, hey, no, I want you to learn things and to take risks with me. Like so I just am like I keep
Yeah.
getting challenged with that, and just so many different things I've been learning in Spokane, and what's important to me, and what does our life look like, and just like some of it just feels really simple, but that's when I get to comparing to other people. And then I'm
Yes.
like, "Oh, wait a minute. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing right now." Like,
Yeah.
take a pause, Corey, because and then
Right?
I need to take a pause and go back to the input rhythms, because I kind of the text, I think I mentioned it here, was crying in the bathroom. Like, okay, we need to take care of my heart here. This is not a
Yeah.
take a risk moment. This is a get back to standing,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
and I don't know. So I just was challenged by God just saying, like, hey, are you coming to me? Like, can we process some
Yeah.
things together and be quiet and take, I'm sure there's, I don't remember all the chapters right now, but just that attitude of pausing,
Yeah. Well, and
not
maybe
just
like
be
asking like what rhythm is God calling me to right
right.
now? You know,
Yeah.
like, and obviously those they come and go in each
Yeah.
day. Like we should be doing some of these each day, but I feel like also sometimes we're in a season of this is my season of resting, or this is
Right.
my
Right.
season of jumping out and you know, embracing my creative self or whatever.
Yeah.
Um but always kind of making space to come
Hmm.
back around to those other rhythms as we go through our day, you know.
Yeah. I like a quote. She said, I just wrote the page number. I don't remember what chapter. Page 250. When we are uncertain about our place in the world, fear can settle in. And
Yeah.
I just thought how that's I just felt like that, like just different things or that feel new still feels uncertain sometimes. So I just have to
Yeah.
remember like, okay, I have a place in Christ no matter what circumstances, and I can and he'll help me figure out what that is so then I'm not afraid, or like, and so then like just that cue, like, oh, I'm responding in fear, not in faith. Like
Yeah.
being aware, like, oh, wait a minute, time out. What am I doing? And then, or if I didn't say that, then I'm at the end of my rapidly fraying rope, right? Like
Right?
the,
Yes.
so it's like,
Oh,
okay,
yes.
time, guess what? You get a timeout now because you ran yourself to, like, wait a minute, Lord, please help me. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I love just the reminder in the title of this book, like the word rhythm reminds me that like a life well lived is not a life of these short bursts of crazy productivity and
right.
then I'm so tired that I can't move and now I need to recover for 3 weeks or something,
Right,
whatever
right,
it might be.
right.
I'm speaking from experience
Yes.
from our recent project that we just did. Like, that is not a life well lived for me to,
Right.
like, a life well lived is like moderation, like, and take it in rhythm, like,
Yes.
instead of just being crazy about something for however long that stupid project took, you know?
But then also stupid projects only take so long and we're not doing them all the time, right? Like
That's true.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. So having grace for the recovery period too.
Yeah. I think is a nice thing.
Yes. But I
Yeah.
can get into that one track mind mode where it's like, we just gotta get this done, get the project done.
Yeah.
And then my husband reminds me, I felt like on that weekend we didn't have any time to just be.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Right.
Good.
That.
Yeah. We're going to get this done so we can play, but we're not having fun yet. Like
Right.
yeah. Yeah. That is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a memory you made, whether it was an intentional one or not, right? Like we're making memories, friends. I always try to do that, like in a situation that doesn't always feel as comfortable as it could. Like, okay, we're making a memory right now. Like, and sometimes that helps me clue in, like, okay, what can we do different in this moment? Like,
yeah,
to just enjoy the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So that brings us, I guess, to the verse you were going to share.
I
right?
think it does. It's kind of a nice little segue. I was praying and I was remembering in Luke chapter 10, verse. Sorry, I had to. I'm like, I need to get glasses now. What's up with that? 30, is it say 38? I think so. Yes. Stefan teases me, do you need a large print Bible? And I'm like, well, maybe I do. Anyways, this is I'll just read it. Now, as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village. A woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went up to him and asked, Lord, why do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her to help me. But the Lord answered, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, and that which will not be taken away from her. So I felt like this was such a beautiful picture of how easily life can get so busy and we're distracted that we miss the sweet things. And we're just like, oh, wait a minute, this was important. And just and even that words, anxious and troubled about many things, I feel like echoed Rebecca's reason for writing this book, trading anxiety for a life of peace. Like, it was just like, it makes such sense. Like, and how often do I feel like Martha instead of Mary? And then it's like, wait a minute, am I missing what Jesus is doing in this moment?
Yeah.
And so I just keep coming back to that. Like, how, if he's the most important thing in my world, how am I living that way?
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful for this book helping me in a tactile, physical, or not tactile. What is
Practical?
the word? Practical. Yeah. Practical ways like I can implement. Like, okay, this is helping me pay attention to what Jesus is doing, because I'm not just running around in circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So that's my story, friends. Do I do it perfect? No, but I'm striving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, friend.
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to our next one that we're going to be reading.
Me too.
I think it's going to be timely as well, and I guess we can talk about that next episode. Listeners will just have to wait and see.
We will. We're keeping you on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
Love you, everybody. And
right.
you're doing amazing.
Bye.
Thank you.